live on Twitch. So, hello, we're going to do a 2-for-1 stream today. We're going to stream both the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I was going to say Ultimate Deluxe, but I think it's Ultra Deluxe. And the Unknown Gaming Podcast, which starts in about an hour and a half. Actually, about 2 hours, not an hour and a half, sorry. I misspoke. And just in case anybody joins, unmute myself in the podcast room. So, let's get this underway. Let me pull up the game. Yeah, I was unprepared. But I literally didn't try to set this up in advance or anything. So, okay, it's automatically going to show up. Okay, it is, I forget, this is the in-game mouse cursor. Please enter the current time. Enter my local time. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take this step seriously. They just leave it at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know you care about this experience and you're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if you're setting the time correct. Tell you what, I'll make a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the time to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are playing the Stanley Parable. The end is never, the end is never, the end is never, the end is never.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Alright.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
I'm gonna just skip. There are a few endings I think I still need to get, and I think this is one of them.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me.
Alright, I should make sure Twitch is open.
In here I can be happy forever. I will be
Firefox.
happy.
So
Stanley waited. Hours passed. Then days.
no,
Had years
that's
gone
not
by?
what I wanted.
He no longer had the ability to tell.
Wrong
But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt,
That's
was
not
that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do.
I'm gonna make sure the
Now
audio
it's
levels
just
are
a
okay.
little bit closer.
So
Now it's even
it
closer.
sounds like I'm doing
Here it
pretty
comes.
well. I'm gonna turn down the audio until it's podcast time. Alright, we've gotten that ending now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Wait, there should be a way. Because I know I can get onto a desk. I just don't remember where. Maybe it's in the next room. Nope. It's not here either. Because I was going to try and get the window ending, but I have no way of actually, being able...
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference.
Hey, I mean,
Nor did it
it
advance
could
the
be
story
advancing
in
the
any
story.
way.
You don't know. We're gonna ignore that for now. I'm gonna make sure I have the broom closet ending.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So this is the easiest way to do it. You know, just follow what he says, and
Yet there was not a
I can
single
knock out
person there
2
either.
birds with one stone.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided
Oh, I
to
did
go
not.
back to his boss's office, hoping. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I think I'm gonna stand here, because, I mean, you know, just to make you angry.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow.
There is a
Just an
choice to
empty
make.
Broom closet. No reason
Whether or not I want to stay here.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I mean, I'm standing here because I want to, not because you told me I don't.
In the broom closet?
I don't need to, and I'm
nothing?
taking a drink of my
Why?
soda.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Oh, that's some good Mountain Dew. So,
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here,
yes, there is a
If I'd
choice,
said,
and
"Stanley
I'm currently
walked
doing
past
what
the
I
broom
want
closet,"
to
at least
do.
you would have had
I
a reason
want
to
to
explore it
stand
and find out.
in
But it didn't even occur to me
the,
because literally this closet is of
the,
absolutely
broom closet.
no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
It looks like there could have been like boxes right here.
Maybe to
Because
you this is somehow its own branching path.
yes,
Maybe when you go talk
Yes.
about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite."
it is my
I hope
favorite.
your friends find this concerning.
Okay, I'm just making sure that. Okay.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
What
He
a
probably got the job
rude
because of a family
narrator.
That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money.
Oh
Also,
boy,
Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
man, I don't like you. You are such a rude person, whoever you are.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Yes.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down
I mean,
your central nervous system. and
I've
you
never
collapsed
heard the
into
word
wall.
Madadley,
In
or
a situation like
I don't know
this,
if I'm
the
even pronouncing it
responsible
right.
thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number
mean,
of your countless human physiological
No,
vulnerabilities.
because I'm moving
It's
around. It's
indicative
just
of the
I don't feel like
long-term
doing what you
sustainability
want
of
me
your
to do.
species. Please
Good
remove
sir.
their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board.
Ooh,
I
what's this
guarantee
room?
you can't do any
Broom
worse than the person who
closet.
came
Okay,
before you.
no, I'm going back in. I like the broom closet.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
And we can
Perhaps there's a
actually get
monkey
this
man. Coming
ending.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
No,
office.
I'm going down
But Stanley
because I
just
don't think I
couldn't do
could.
it.
I don't think I've
He
gotten this
considered
ending
the
yet.
possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
I wish
And
I
in such
could
a
like
competitive economy,
zoom in.
why had he taken that risk? All
Oh.
because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Hold
And
on.
as Stanley
Wait a
pondered this,
minute.
he began to make other strange observations. For example, Why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors
Because
close automatically
in a
behind him
first-person
wherever he went?
game,
And for that
like
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty
considering,
familiar. Were they simply
like,
repeating? No, Stanley said to
that
himself.
you're
This is
literally
all
just
too
a mounted,
strange. This can't
like,
be real.
I don't know.
And
My
at
brain's like
last,
you're just
he
a
came
mounted
to the
camera.
conclusion that had
By the
been
way
on
it
the tip of his
looks,
tongue. He just hadn't found the words for
they
it.
probably
I'm
were like,
dreaming.
we're gonna remake the
This
game
is all a dream.
in Unity. 'Cause I think this
What
was
a
a
relief
Unity
Stanley
remake.
felt to have finally found
Basically,
an answer, an
it
explanation.
looks
His co-workers
beautiful.
weren't
I will
actually
say
good.
that.
He wasn't going to lose
I
his
do
job.
believe the
He
original
wasn't
game
crazy
was
after all.
made
He thought
in
to himself,
Source.
I
I
suppose I'll
could be
wake up
wrong,
soon. I'll have to go
but
back to my boring real-life job.
I don't know the
pushing
constraints
buttons.
of
I may
Source
as well
Engine
enjoy this while
at
I'm
this
still
point.
lucid. So he imagined himself.
But I know with
flying
Unity
and
you
began
could
to
probably do a
gently
lot
float
more.
above the ground.
And like, well, we could just remake the entire
Then he
game and then
imagined
add in the
himself
content.
soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
I don't
and then
remember.
perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice
But-
in my head
Yeah,
dictating
no, I like this
everything that
game a
I'm
lot.
doing and
It's a
thinking?
very fun game. It's
Now
very
the voice
meta.
was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
I think the last
the
ending
truth
I
was that,
got
of course,
was
this was not a dream.
where
How could
the
it be?
narrator
Was Stanley simply
said,
deceiving
you know, he
himself,
found out he was,
believing that if
like, the
he's
player
asleep, he doesn't
basically
have to
found
take
out they were human.
responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
I mean-
This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Wait,
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press
You
of
know,
the mattress on his
I
back,
could totally see this
the
being a
fresh air
dream,
of the world outside
but
this one.
it's...
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
I mean, I don't know.
Let me go back to my job. Let me
This is what I
continue
like about
pushing the
narrative
buttons.
games. They could be
Please.
completely,
It's all I
like...
I want my apartment and my wife.
They could be,
and my
like,
job.
completely like this, where
All I
there,
want
you know,
is
there's
my life
meta
exactly
elements,
the way it's always been.
but then there's, you
My
know,
life
stuff
is
like
normal.
In Space with Markiplier, which I'll
I am normal.
talk about later, because the podcast is about narrative games.
I
And yes,
am
for those that are wondering,
okay.
if there is anybody that's like, this could be a coincidence that he's playing Stanley Parable and, you know, going to talk about narrative games.
Stanley began screaming.
No.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley.
Oh, boy.
I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please,
Oh,
just
it's
someone
starting to
tell me
turn
I'm
red,
real.
so I wonder-
I must be real. I must
Is
be.
he
Can
giving
anyone
himself a
hear
heart
my
attack?
voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Yep. I think he basically
This is
gave
the
himself
story of a woman named
some
Mariana.
form of heart attack. I don't know. I could be wrong. It just
Mariana
seems
woke
like...
up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
This game
I know
likes
what
to
is
screw
real
with you.
and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting
I've
she
got-
had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would
Oh,
affect
no,
her
don't wanna
career,
miss the
and by
important meeting with the
extension,
important
the rest
people.
of her life. She She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
I mean, you know, I kind of think of the Stanley I was gonna say the Stanley Paradox, because that's all it is.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
But I don't want to go to the meeting room.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
But I don't want to go to the meeting room. But I have to.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I know I've got the broom closet ending. I know I've got the forklift ending. I've got the other door ending. Yet there was not a single
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
actually, what
Stanley
you could
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all.
I'm just like,
going to be
broom
patient
closet.
and wait for
Just
you
randomly.
to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, I think it's like 4 or 5. 8245 or
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, so I think now we're gonna do like I'm going to do the bad ending first, then we're going to do the good ending, then we're going to do the elevator. And then I'm going to move on to the new content.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he
you never know. Like, I know I've gotten
it had never occurred to him. This question would not go unanswered for long.
So, yeah. That'll be another, I still have to get the elevator ending.
Stanley
but we'll do the bad ending, then the elevator ending.
Mind control facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
This is where the game really kind of slows down.
Now the monitors jump to
because
life, their true nature revealed.
The lifts for the
number of an employee
the catwalks
Stanley's co-workers
move
the lives
super
of so
slow.
many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay, yeah, bad ending first.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to
Then we're going to do the elevator.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control?
And then we're going to do the good ending.
Was this the
and then we're finally going to move on to the new content.
That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
Don't speak for me.
In someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Yes.
Had he truly
Maybe.
spent
I don't
his
know.
entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Alright, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna
dismantle the controls once.
We're gonna do exactly the opposite of what you want, which is to shut off the machine.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
No.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
I've already done that.
Nearly the power
Check
you
the
think
last
you do.
stream.
For example, and I believe you'll
got
find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
oh, what a convenient plot twist.
Detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now.
Technically,
Shape
he
it to
could
your
get out of
heart's
the building.
desires. Oh, this is much
in
better
2
than what I
minutes.
had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you.
The weird part is, like, I'm thinking about this. Technically, he could get out of the building.
Know where to start.
But
what's that?
You know, it's a game.
You'd like to
so
know where your
suspend
co-workers are.
your disbelief.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
Press any
but I'm
key to
enjoying
send
this so
power
much.
surge.
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock.
I'll have to remember that. See if that's an
These
ending.
are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in
that's
this
the
room
thing
was
too. It's
capable
like
of turning it
technically
on?
the game won't end. That's why instead of calling it the Stanley Parable, I would call it the Stanley
clicking
Paradox.
on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless.
You know, I'm
to
just
see you
doing what I
made
do best,
humble.
and that's run
This
around.
is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
As a
No
goodbye.
engineer, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
So,
or will you
we've
let it
got
go peacefully? Another choice.
2 more endings to
Take
get
it, Count.
that I know
Oh,
I
don't.
can get.
It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
I mean, we've been going, what, 30 minutes? Here we are, back in there. Alright, let's
All
not
of his
waste time.
co-workers were gone.
Let's get him
What could
very,
it
very
mean?
angry.
Stanley decided to
It's
go to the meeting room.
2485.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
2845
memo.
is what it is. Going to ignore you.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I think in order
Yet
to get
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Come on! I don't like using the keypad, because it's like, oh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story
There we
as
go.
quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the writer talk. That
No.
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age
Oh,
music.
God. Hold on. Let me just do this. Because I'm...
Rejuvenated, Stanley
There.
calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Where? Alright, elevator ending time. Which, basically... Basically, that means... Boom. Going up and down the elevator.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Like I said, I'm not even going to try to get the window ending.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive,
I know you're being
rapid-fire of
sarcastic.
critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
What a pain, Mr. Narrator.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to
I
grapple with
promise
what might
there's a
be up
point
there.
to all of
Is it the
this.
boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
I don't remember how many times you actually have to do this. Yeah, so they actually want you to go back to the office.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a timeout here for a minute while I process this.
I love it. They actually do kind of like the technical difficulties type of thing.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
I have a feeling you're concocting a scheme. Sir.
have fully come to terms with it. Of course. Going back down.
That's the only choice I have.
Anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before.
I know
had
it's
no frame of
sarcasm,
reference
sir.
to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Let's go back up. See if he makes a comment when we get back up to the top. Oh, it's something new.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
You're planning something.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley,
You're
it
being
seems like
condescending,
nowadays the
sir.
only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible.
Yes, but
They
this
want
isn't
big,
shocking,
explosive
especially
moments
since people
flung
knew I was
right in
gonna
their
do it.
faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension?
I don't know.
Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to
Because you've been
think,
planning
to
something this whole
anticipate,
time.
and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over
Because
and
I knew
over.
you'd get
Truly,
tired of it.
I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley.
Where am
want to
I?
have
What
to
am I
think.
doing?
I want to
I
be
don't
engaged
know.
and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're
Or
a
the
role
narrative
model,
you're
you
trying
know?
to craft.
People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you. So
I
that you can
knew
talk
you were
about your
planning
work
something.
And your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here. Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
World's healthiest human being. All tricks revealed. How we did it. The pyramid. Is that a reference to how it's made? I have the guy who went to Mars. All eyes on Stanley live on stage. I remember how it's made.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
The man, the process, the myth, the legend, the parable, Stanley. World's first sentient machine. That'd be interesting.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry,
Remember where you
you'll
came
do
from.
great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Can I leave? I can't leave. Wait, what? Stanley Ryder, almonds. Okay. It's just... Okay. So... Gosh dang it. Alright. Hello, hi, howdy. Hey, it's me. It's Stanley. Why is the crowd moving at like 3 frames a second? Not even. Actually, no, that could have been 3 frames.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked,
Alright, we got the... Now we go get the good ending. And then we can go get the bonus content. The new content.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, we'll let him talk this time.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Really? That went quick. That was quick. Like, I was fully prepared to enter the passage code. There is something I'm going to try this time.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I believe I see the button.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
I want to see
the number of an
if I could do a power surge
Stanley's
ending.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals.
That might be getting the good ending twice.
Screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I mean,
no,
like I said, I don't know if
he
it would be
refused to
entirely
believe
possible.
it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
So
and as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
Like I said, I wasn't going to waste time. Because, I mean, if I get...
blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty.
I've only been streaming for
Was it over?
Not even 30 minutes. I think now it's reaching like 30, 40
Yes.
minutes, so...
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but
it
happiness.
was freedom, but no,
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
So does that mean I'm
Whatever
free from
life
you,
he
Mr.
lives,
Narrator?
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon
Actually,
his
this
skin,
is really
the
pretty.
feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Alright, so we got an ending. But then it's gonna loop again. And there is one more thing I'm gonna try before
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
I'm gonna try the power surge ending.
When Stanley came to a set of two
So
open
technically,
doors,
I
this
think
was
this
not
is
the correct
actually
way to the
faster.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
You actually could defeat the game in under 4 minutes and 22 seconds. You literally have to play it over and over again. But I'm gonna try the power surge ending. Like, because I saw something that...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Because, like,
What
I had the
horrible
idea, because I'm
secret
like,
did this
oh, it's
place
just
hold?
press a
Stanley
key
thought to himself.
to
Did
cause
he
a
have
power
the strength
surge.
to find out?
So I wonder. If not, I'll just get the good ending again.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Hell. You know, and people will be like, well,
This
you know...
mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Because, like, part of me was like,
Never.
okay, it's gotta
It
be,
was
like...
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even
It's-
possible? Had he truly
Part of me
spent
wants
his
to try it,
entire
'cause
life
it's just
utterly
interesting.
blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or
Oh, it's
content.
immediately disabled.
Walking, eating, working.
Oh.
All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that
So
this
it's not an
machinery
ending,
would
it's just...
never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
Danny.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
I wonder.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
The same.
For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Alright, let's go.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
I'm just gonna check my...
And Stanley was happy.
I don't think it's bringing up... Okay, no. I was gonna view all of the achievements I had, but...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Alright,
missed a
we're
memo.
just gonna move on to the new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I mean, because here's the thing. We have literally an hour and a half, or an hour and 33 minutes.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
You're very welcome.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yes.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Ooh.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Oh boy. I'm excited.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet,
Just
but I'm sure
relax,
it's just
hold
the
on.
beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Just relax. It's gonna be more than an elevator soon. Am I supposed to hit a button?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh,
there we go.
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
I'm excited. Come on. Come on, I want to see it. I want to see the new...
Initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Mostly tedious. It's as if...
I like the narrator.
Oh, okay, let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Oh, here we go.
All right. All right,
jump
let's
circle?
see it's the jump circle.
Is that it?
Is that it?
Yeah, I was
Surely
thinking the
that's
same
not all
thing.
the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
I guess
If this
so.
is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else.
Oh,
Let's see
no.
it. I'm ready for whatever.
Oh,
it is.
no. Thank you for
That's it? Are you kidding me? You see, Stanley? This is what happens when many video game developers with no respect for their fans rush such a cheap expansion to market
Oh
for no
my
reason other
God.
than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level
Well
of craftsmanship
done.
that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements.
Well
and it's hard
done,
to believe one of them
man.
actually says, test achievement, please ignore. What quality assurance department signed off on this?
I
I'm
don't know.
infuriated and I'm offended, and I
Oh,
intend to
that's
find these people
actually
on
kind of
Twitter
funny.
and hold them personally accountable.
Hold on.
It's my
I gotta
fault, Stanley.
have a
I built up
drink.
too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Go ahead. Whoa. What is this? What? What is this, sir?
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
I don't think anybody ever tried that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I kind of wanted to see, like, what would have happened if I went through the door.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling
Does
a
it
wave of
continue,
disbelief,
like...
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, that's my fault. If I gotta go through the new content arc again...
Here's the door, just go.
So I think I fucked that up a little bit. And I think after this one we're gonna take a 5-minute break. So I can actually go have my phone near, like, within arm's reach of me.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Because, I mean, I
What
do want to
horrible
have, like...
secret did this place
I do want to
hold?
make sure, like, I'm not
Stanley
missing
thought to
anything on
himself. Did he have
Discord.
the
I don't
strength
think anybody's
to
in
find
the...
out?
Hold on. I don't think anybody's in the voice chat with me yet. We got plenty of time. You know, typically I do podcasts set up around like 7-ish, 7:15.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
So
bore
we
the
got
number
an
of
hour,
an employee in the building. Stanley's
basically an hour and
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to
10 minutes
images on a screen.
before
And Stanley,
we do
one of them,
any podcast setup
eternally
or
monitored in this place
anything like
where
that. And then
freedom
if it's
meant
just me,
nothing.
I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been
I mean, you're mad
manipulated to
because I didn't
accept
want to
it
go see the new
blindly?
content.
No.
Who would blame me? I
He
don't trust you
refused
after
to
what you
believe
pulled
it.
with the
He
phone.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
I just noticed the
unthinkable.
employee
Wasn't
pirate.
it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the
Yeah,
world?
if you play the game so many times, it will literally say, just go.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Control.
I'm not wasting time, 'cause I
sad,
wanted to go
or
see the new
content,
content.
walking,
But
eating,
yeah, I'm gonna take
working,
about a 5 or
all
10
of it
minute break
monitored and
because
commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of
Probably
his
it.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided.
there we go. I feel like that was faster. See, some of these, I'm looking at the achievements. I've got
Blackness
5 of 11
and a rising
achievements,
chill of
which is get your
uncertainty.
first achievements,
Was it
beat the
over?
game, welcome back, you can't jump, click the door 5 times, committed,
He had
play
won.
the Stanley
had
Parable for an
defeated the
entire
machine,
duration of a Tuesday,
Unshackled himself from someone else's
set all
command.
champion.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened,
So,
Stanley
I'm
reflected
actually
on how
wondering,
many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's
so you basically
grasp?
play for
What other
24
mysteries
hours.
did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he
So,
realized
then
none
we
of this
do-
mattered to him.
Yeah,
For it
then
was
there's
not knowledge
settings,
or even
world
power
champion,
that
set
he
all
had been
settings
seeking,
slider
but
to
happiness.
all available
Perhaps
numbers.
his goal had not been to understand,
I don't.
but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how
People will be like, well, how
whatever life
did
he
you,
lives,
get
it
the
will be his.
achievements off
And
stream?
that
I
was all
played
he needed to know.
the Stanley Parable
It
Ultra
was
Deluxe.
perhaps
I actually
the only
cleared
thing worth knowing.
my save before I
Stanley
streamed it
stepped
the first
through
time.
the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have
Stanley
to go to the bathroom,
was
game, so
happy.
hurry up. Hurry up so I can pause you, run to the bathroom, and grab my phone. Alright, so with that being said, I get to pull that up, go to a blank screen, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. And we're going to be playing through the surprise.
Psst. Stanley, come over here.
I'm in the vent, dude.
I want to show you something.
You know it's new when it says the end is never, the end is never?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be?
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
This
Just
room
our
is
little
extremely
secret.
detailed.
Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in
So
October
this is
of
all the
2013,
awards
when the game
they've
originally
gotten.
launched. Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it
I
all
actually
meant
don't know if it
something.
got that award, but if it did, good. I mean, this is all the awards and milestones that it has, and like, I thought the one ending is where I would literally it was so meta. Well, because it basically took you behind the scenes. This is literally taking you oh, it did get that. Okay. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. Like, this is taking you literally behind the scenes with
And
the
over
awards
here
and
is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning
reviews.
triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
I was gonna say
was
it
literally
definitely
every
is
game
unique.
ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them.
No,
and now
like,
it's nothing. It's no
right.
games at all.
It's its own
It isn't
unique
even the Stanley
creation.
Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Alright, here we go. So, nothing down here, but there was a staircase, so. I mean, you never know with this game what could happen.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It
I'm
didn't
not
need
gonna say
anything
the game
else.
was perfect.
It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
And you can still play the original. So it seems like we can only go out this door then.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game
It's
distributor.
different in the
I haven't looked at these
PS4 or
in years.
5 version.
I can't even imagine what's being collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
They
Honestly, I
focus
could not be
mainly
bothered to
on
play
the
this game
negative
to full
ones with the
completion.
Steam
The
reviews,
narrator is
so I wonder.
obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I mean, like I've said, nothing is ever
Okay, let's see what this one says.
ever
While the
perfect.
idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
Big
You can't
word
know
I
how
don't
much fluff
understand.
I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear.
Let me go this way.
What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my
mean-
otherwise unimpeachable track record.
A game is never
feel
perfect.
Like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the
Perfection is
Stanley
something that
Parable
will never
isn't quite as
be
sterling
achieved,
as I always
even in
remembered.
video games, because a review is someone's opinion.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record.
You can't please
Only
everyone. It
positive
is,
reviews of the
and
Stanley
I
Parable.
get what
That's
they're
my
trying
motto
to
today,
do.
and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes.
It's gonna get
but it was
worse.
plenty
Like,
of time for me to
I've
deliver
played
a
through
long,
this,
rambling
but at the
monologue
same
full of
time,
well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the
because
power
I
of the
like
button.
part of me
The
does
minute
want to
I
get
start
through
to go off on a thoughtless display of
this.
self-absorption, it's right.
And there's a
Okay,
lot.
welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say
A
that the
lot
amount
to
of
see.
time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley!
I don't care.
Please don't push the button again. It's been 12
I wish the clock
hours.
would reflect it.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back.
Maybe it
You're
is.
back.
I don't
Oh, my
know.
goodness, I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
I'm like, push button.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about
It's silent. Huh? I'm awake. Huh?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough.
Somebody's
they had to
bitter.
leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up.
I mean, oh yeah, this room is becoming more and more decrepit.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the...
He's basically repeating what's on various loading screens. Oh. Hello. I see that. So I wonder what must be going on outside. Okay, I'm just making sure that because with XSplit and Discord, I'm making sure like nobody just randomly popped in. I wish I could see Twitch chat, but I can't. So, okay, I'm not missing anything. Ooh. Okay. Oh, this room is on its side. So yeah, now. But look at this landscape, though. Like, it looks pretty good. Better than anything I've ever made. I will be 100% honest with you. Alright, the game literally just restarts.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay. What's this new and exciting thing? Oh no. It's the elevator. Don't lie to me.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley
At
Parable
first, I thought this
2.
was it was going to be a brand new game. And we can't do anything there.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up.
And
Why there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be.
New
But let's take a look at
features,
some
new
of the features I've
content.
been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game
I mean,
development is much more of a fuzzy magic.
I will
than
not say
anything
it's fuzzy
scientific or
magic.
Logical, really.
And for anybody that
Here
wants to
we are.
know,
Go on, try out some of the new
okay,
features.
what's up here? I think this is the bucket. We'll get the bucket first.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical.
It was
It
very much
engendered a
paradoxical.
chaotic sense
It
of
is.
reckless despair in
But
those who
that's what
played
makes it
it.
fun,
Well,
because
I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution
it
to
took
this
the
fundamental problem with the game.
literal
It's the
sense
Stanley
of the
Parable
end is never
reassurance bucket. You see,
the end
Stanley,
is never the
every
end.
time you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will
And
fill your
built on
mind
it.
and your heart. It's
And
true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the
I
many
should make sure that
disappointing
the
contradictions
screen
of
is
the
actually
Stanley
being
Parable
captured.
will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive
we've been
dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than
It
actually
is, like,
redesigning
showing
the
up
game
that
to
we
be
are
less
live. Okay.
uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes.
Yeah,
the
actually,
bucket is
I
the perfect
do
solution.
understand
Come
what a
on,
pain in the ass it would be to
try.
rework an entire game because of mechanics.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of
So,
charisma as well?
Um,
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
I mean, I'm going to
Does
outright
anyone
say
give out
this as
awards
well.
for most enjoyable
Like,
bucket
for
in a
anybody
video
that
game?
goes, you have no idea
That
what
really
that's like.
should be an award if it isn't already.
I will say that I've actually had to rework. Wait. Free, new, and easy achievement. I can't believe it's that simple. Well, let's see. Maybe it is. It just. That's a shot at
Now, here's
Bethesda,
something
I
special.
think.
You remember that broken test achievement that
just
got left in the
works.
game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the
But it
achievement
doesn't
is
work.
still fully broken. I'm not a wizard,
Lie
Stanley,
to me,
but I guarantee it will
narrator.
be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature.
I mean, I
Gamers,
could see them
we hear
making
you.
a stand.
What else?
Oh,
What other exhibits haven't we seen
infinite
yet?
hole. I'm assuming that is it this way? I can't tell. Yeah, it is this way. I had a hard time finding this. So I wonder what happens if I try it once and
Stanley,
then just walk
here's an
out.
idea that I'm truly fond of.
Actually,
it's
no,
never
you
been done
need to
before
try it
in a video
multiple
game.
times to
This is in
progress.
fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning
Oh,
leap
yeah,
forward
like
for a
I
video
believe
game.
that.
You see? Isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
But like DH
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer,
was it
but I do recommend you use the teleport button to
DH2?
go back to the top.
I ended up
Maybe do it
switching
on the
from RPG,
sooner
like the
rather
original
than later
incarnation,
spectrum of things.
and I will refer to that as such. The original incarnation, basically,
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully.
I wanted
but it's
to talk.
possible that I slightly exaggerated
it went
the infinite
from
nature of the
RPG
hole.
Maker to Unreal
Is it a
Engine
very,
4,
very deep hole? To be certain.
back to
It's
RPG
an
Maker.
extremely deep hole.
Because I
don't want anyone
truly
to
didn't know
say
how to
that
do
it isn't an
RPG
astonishingly deep
mechanics
hole. It
in
Is it
Unreal Engine.
infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
in this hole.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
People
I
who want to
figured
test
the
the
hole was as
theory.
deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
Okay, I have an
think we just
idea.
put all
I want to
this
see if
behind us and
his
agree to just call the
tone
hole
changes if I
mostly
walk
infinite.
out.
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
The mostly infinite hole. And people say, well, why don't you, continue? And I'm like, I do want to see, like, if I go explore the other things, if it changes. So I need the collectibles. Can you find them all? And I think there are 6,
Now
according
it's a real
to...
video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on.
There we go. Stanley looks so sad. And you're getting kicked out of
God,
there.
it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game, and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic. You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Okay. I mean, you do whatever you want
Calling
to do.
it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2...
Button that says
now
the player's
that's an
name.
artistic statement.
You know how you
For the Stanley
really
Parable
irritate
2,
the narrator?
I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget
Does it
who
work?
you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Does it work now?
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory.
I don't care.
If you don't
It's a
properly
button.
play as
I want to
Jim,
press it.
then you'll never understand the impact of this button.
I understand it,
Otherwise,
sir.
It's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
No.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now?
Yes.
Get out of here.
No.
I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
I like irritating the narrator. There was one more thing I needed to see here.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Jump circle. Okay, so I don't know if I've been through here. Office decorations.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
What? Where? Honestly, I would go with Get Well Someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another
of
person's
course.
opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Oh, God. What did I do? I honestly was gonna say, along with that,
Actually,
like, my
maybe I
reasoning
should have
is,
gone with-
since it's
No.
literally
No,
a
I've made my
mind
decision,
F
we're
of a
moving
game, literally, what I would do, okay, we've got the collectibles, feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like I've missed an epilogue. Well, I missed it, but that's because I don't remember where it is.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Say,
somewhere, but you have to refine it and refine a story.
New features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
What?
I mean, there's potential here, right?
Every game has potential.
Okay, never mind. Hold on.
It's
Let me
just
do a different
what you
arrangement.
do with
Okay,
the mechanics you've
yes,
arranged.
this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Okay, he's revising it.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Yes.
Would it possibly work?
Yes.
I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Alright. And here is the new title screen. Here's where the new content is that we just saw. It will be used.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was...
It was not meant to
number
handle
427.
balloons.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Okay, so I didn't know if that changed anything
was
or not.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions.
Yeah, no, I see
call a
balloons
meeting,
clipping through the
or even
ceiling.
say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Yeah,
All of his co-workers
I
were
can
gone.
see the meeting,
What could
like,
it mean? Stanley decided
that
to go to the meeting.
shouldn't happen.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley picked up the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
I'm gonna
was
try and
simply
get
the
that.
place
I
to
don't
be.
know if...
And
So
here
I
it was,
really
that
like the
bucket
confusion
turned out
ending,
to be
but I don't
correct.
know if it
No,
actually
never
exists.
mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact.
Oh.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had
Is it
spoken to
the...
him,
Oh
and
no,
he
I
unthinkingly
wonder
did
if it's going to
whatever
be
the
the same
bucket asked.
ending.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh no.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This
Oh.
is everything we'll ever need to know about what is
I love this.
or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
I'm trying to purposely answer these wrong.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4.
Yes! That is a bucket. Yes, I know it's a tractor.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up?
'Cause I'm
Absolutely incredible.
Trying
Let's just move on to the
to
next
screw this up.
one. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
No. Oh, that's funny.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore
Actually,
nothing
technically,
could
no.
possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe
A
that
bucket
nothing
is a
bucket?
container without a lid. What was the question?
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
Good.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
You're a bucket of information.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
Technically,
I'm losing
a
myself. and
bucket,
myself was
again,
all
is a
I ever
container
had to
without a
begin
lid.
with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
No.
Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Yes.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Yes.
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some
Wow,
clarity on that issue.
what
But
a...
it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
So is this a different version of the confusion ending?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision?
I mean...
What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly.
This game is so
The thing to do
frickin'
now,
meta,
Stanley thought
though.
to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be
Well,
happy
he's reading out
forever.
things
I will be
for
happy.
the
Stanley waited. Hours
ending.
passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough,
I think I'm the only one in
answers
here
would
right now.
come. Eventually, someday, they would have
So-
arrived. Soon, very soon now,
I
this will end.
see if
He will be spoken to. He will be
Bob
told
was
what
online
to
yet?
do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
I wanted to see if it would change it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead.
We're gonna go to the
opposite
broom
door.
closet. Let's go visit our friends in
Still
the
no
broom
one was
closet here.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No,
You can
it can't
feel
have
that,
the
can't
bucket.
you?
The bucket is my
aura
friend.
of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't
Open
give in.
door?
Don't
Closed
hand
door.
over the bucket.
Open door?
I know how hard
Closed
it
door.
must be.
I know
given the
I'm
pressure that
being,
the broom
like,
closet is putting on your
incredibly
shoulders right
bored,
now, but you
but
have
I
to be
mean-
strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion.
gonna be honest.
And lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. No. We're getting into name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty
Why
insults
could I see,
simply in
like-
order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley.
You
I
know,
never liked
really,
this
like,
broom closet
everything
for a
turning into a
variety of reasons,
cartoon.
but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting
Lies.
friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd
That
feel
is
the
also
same
another
sort
word
of
I've never
kinship
heard.
towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences
I mean,
you and the bucket have
The
shared
bucket
together. Go
is
through each of them point by
my
point.
friend.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Thank you.
Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, Broom Closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
I could just see this Stanley very
All
animated,
right,
yelling.
I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker. You know, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
What happens if I walk downstairs? I
But
wonder.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was
The
crazy.
ending
And
doesn't
then
change.
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
But we'll see.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Oh no.
Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a
Oh
woman
no,
named
it
Mariella.
didn't change.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of
Oh no, it did
confidence
change.
and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella
What
thought.
the hell?
And she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What the? Well, that ending has changed. What about the phone ending?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley
Alright,
clutched
we've
the
got
bucket tightly to his... This
half
was not
hour.
the correct way to the
15
meeting room.
minutes to
Stanley had felt the bucket calling
set
to
up
him,
and call
telling
time,
him
basically.
that the employee lounge was simply the place
If people
to
are
be.
gonna join.
And here it was.
And
had the bucket turned
because,
out to be
well,
correct?
people be like,
No.
are people gonna join?
Never
I don't
mind.
know.
The bucket
I'm just
was
saying,
gone.
like, on a normal day, it would be
Stanley took the
7:15.
door
You know,
on
I
his
do
left
like
to go
audio
back, and
checks.
so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite
Crap.
door.
Is there a confusion ending, or is this?
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad
Oh
you found
no,
your way
it's an
here. I knew
intervention.
you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Oh, it's. I think. I wonder.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
I don't want to get
That's
rid
why
of the
I'm
bucket.
very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
It
Surely you
destroys
don't
my
need me
bucket,
to spell it
friend.
out for you.
I don't want to destroy my bucket.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No. Goodbye.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular
You will not get my
personality
bucket.
trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of
Yes,
Bucket
I can
Destroyer
say that about the Broom
merchandise
Closet.
the
I think
fans
it's
will
a
be
fully
clamoring
fleshed
for
out
after
character.
this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the
No.
fans what they want. Hurry and...
You didn't get my bucket. I'm not gonna give up the bucket.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Man, my computer sounds like it's about to take off with the like how fast the sound or the fans are blowing. It's just like holy cow. So yeah, now the game resets again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Warmth spread through Stanley's eyes.
All right.
With the bucket
Now
in his
we're gonna
arms
do
again,
the
he was
proper.
home. Stanley
Phone
clutched the
handle.
bucket tightly to his This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took
'Cause I
the
wanna
door on his
see if
left to go
anything
back to the
changes.
meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Yeah, good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did
Alright.
not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think
Alright.
about this obvious
Oh.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I screwed myself.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see? There's a sign right there. It says,
Begin the game again. So I was gonna see if
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
There's a
was
few
simply the
endings I
place
want to get
be.
before we
And here it was.
go
Had
into
the bucket
podcast
turned
prep,
out to be
but-
correct? No.
No,
never
like if
mind.
I will
The
say
bucket
if
was
people don't
wrong.
show up, it's not the end of the
Stanley
world.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go
Whee!
somewhere else.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
I wanted to see
So
what
he
would
threw himself
happen.
to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Whoa!
The good old bucket. Just standing
That's
in the
changed.
Off on Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
That
Stanley
changed,
had felt the
though.
bucket calling
Something
to him,
about this
telling him
game has
that
changed.
The employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Don't feel like it. Now we'll get the phone endings.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Yes, go there. Go to the cargo
Penalty,
lift.
penalty for jumping off 5,000.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now
So
ride the
realistically-
lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious
Yeah, and there
fact.
should be a
He was
narrator in my
firmly
head.
convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Because it's a comfort bucket.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa! Hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it.
I mean-
but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that
Oh,
one can watch
it's
to follow.
changed.
Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
It's changed.
What is comedic timing? What is Comedic timing. How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds?
No.
Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
No.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian.
No.
An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence.
Oh,
and
boy.
to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I can't close the door. Okay. Dang it. Oh my god.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to
Oh,
nail the
no.
You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous.
Oh, no,
absurd. What a
man.
hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise,
no.
who knows where we'd be right now? Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I don't think I broke anything, but I don't know.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two-doors room. What an egregious mistake. I
No,
made a
because
fool
it
of
goes
myself. I don't
Stanley
deserve
in the
the title
bucket
of
will
King of
take the
Comedy. I'm
maintenance.
nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
I want to see what happens if I do the other way.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Let me try
Okay.
again, Stanley.
So we got the...
Pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not... Is it the delivery? Pale
Even though
shame.
they don't have a
Pale
bucket.
Shame. Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from
All
making
right,
fun
let's
of
see if
Stanley.
anybody... Hello, is anybody in
This is
here?
the whole point of this. I
don't think so. So I think this podcast will probably just be me then.
Instructional videos.
We'll see. We still got 15 minutes.
What will make me the king of comedy again? More instructional videos. Let's see.
Alright, with that being said, I think we're going to quit playing the Stanley Parable. And now, we're going to go to the main screen here. We have about 15 minutes before the podcast is set to begin. So with that being said, we're going to up the speaker volume to about like half or 3/4, so that you can hear anybody that pops in and wants to partake in this podcast. I mean, this is the first time I actually was like, I'm going to play through, everything. Rain expected tomorrow morning. So, yeah, it's literally, I'm going to check the weather. And I'm using WeatherBug to do that. So what's going on here? I think it's pollen alerts. Severe storm risk from today at 3 to tomorrow at 7 in the morning. Okay, well, just a warning in case the stream does go down, we may have weather coming into the area, but I'm not 100% sure on that at the moment. So, let me just pull up. I want to look at like something really quick. Have I announced that title yet? I don't think so. So, I had to like look at something yesterday because I did a stream talking about Ruins 3, and I'm like, there is so much changed from it, and it's weird. But anyway, we got about 15 minutes. I from the looks of it, people might not be joining, but yeah, this would be about the time that I start doing, sound checks. I get my lighting set, which reminds me, give me 10 seconds here. All right, I just had to make sure, like, I didn't fall or anything. Yeah, no. Now is the time I start getting like completely set up for the stream. And again, I do audio tests to make sure like the audio levels are decent and everybody joins in a server in Discord. I'm in a server, and we have specifically set up a podcast area. So, and it looks like right now it's only me. And again, and people say, well, haven't you done podcasts before on your own? Yeah, I have, actually. I've done quite a few. So, hell, even if we start 10 minutes early, I mean, for me, I'm just like, we'll be streaming for like 4 hours today, because I think the podcast is going to be like, it could be as short as a half hour, and it could be as long as an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because, I mean, that has happened before where, I don't think we can do anything more than like 2.5 hours, or we can't do anything more than a few hours, according to Anchor. I'm actually gonna, I don't know if Anchor lets us filter by, longest episodes. But yeah, we have an hour 21, hour 25, hour 38. I mean, most of our podcasts will range anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. 2 hours 24, 2 hours. I wish I could look at like the absolute longest. I think Minecraft Java was an hour and 4 minutes, or an hour and 49 minutes. I think our longest was, like, according to Anchor, right now it looks to be about 2.5 hours. So we can't do anything more than 3 hours, because episode 11, I think we ended up having to cut 10 minutes off of that episode, considering the time limit of, I think it's 3 hours. So uploading all of this in its entirety is going to be an issue. That's why I'm going to record it. Like, I will distinctly, like, say, I'll do the intro, and then I've never actually done a live stream where I go straight into the podcast, so that's why I'm kind of explaining all of this, and people will say, well, what do you mean? I've done a stream on the day of a podcast, but I never stream right up until the start. And the podcast is live anyway, so I was like, I had the idea a while ago. I'm like, well, why not just stream and then go into the podcast? It'd be easier than setting something, stopping for 20 minutes, having some food, and going live. If you eat long enough, or if you eat at like a certain time, 4:30 we'll say, because I think that's when I ate today, and then go live at 5 or 10 after 5 or whenever we went live today. I'm like, yeah, again, it may not be a super long episode, But if that's the case, the whole stream will be uploaded to Anchor to watch. For on Spotify, they do video podcasts. So, and that's something too. Like I think I've been the last few weeks I've done solo episodes. I think last week was the exception. But like the last 2 or 3 episodes besides last week I've done on my own. And if that's the case where I do it again tonight on my own, that's fine. In all honesty, it really doesn't bother me at all. It's just like the episodes will be shorter. And you can tell like when the episodes are literally just me, because they're anywhere like this season. We've done more. Like we've done longer episodes. With me, if it's just me, it's going to be like anywhere from an hour, half hour to an hour, or like just under a half hour. So yeah, basically a half hour to an hour in length. So with that being said, we're going to start a bit early, 5 minutes early, because I've got it set up, and if anybody wants to join, they will. So let's start. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unknown Gaming Podcast, where we talk about really anything. This week, I decided to do something a little different. Talk about a genre of game that is actually kind of unique. And it's the narrative-driven games. Something akin to a Stanley Parable or Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Take your pick. And like the real purpose of this game is it's really narrative-driven. Like I kind of think of it like a butterfly effect, but not really. There's branching paths, but it doesn't. I don't know how to explain it. The butterfly effect, the difference between a butterfly effect and what the Stanley Parable does. The butterfly effect basically is your choices at the present point in the game will have effects later on. Whereas in the original Stanley Parable, the choices you make, yeah, they influence the story, but it's very confusing for me, and I don't really know if I know how to explain the concept or tell the differences between the two. But the narrative-driven games are kind of like something like the Stanley Parable is paradoxical. No matter what choice you make in the end, no matter what your end result is, the game will start over. Whereas in the butterfly effect, the ending of the game that you get is the ending unless you start a new game. And I think the butterfly effect is more common in games. I will say one of the examples for like butterfly effect games where that's the main mechanic, or a major mechanic, not a main mechanic, is Until Dawn, which is not a game that I have not played Until Dawn at all, but I have seen gameplay of it, and that was one thing that they touted was the butterfly effect. Stanley Parable is more of a paradox. And it's a very meta and very self-aware game. In the Stanley Parable, you have the different endings. You have the confusion ending. I call it the window ending. The good ending, the bad ending, the ending where you take the escape route, or the escape route, I guess. You have... I know I'm missing a lot. the broom closet ending, the one where you just stay in the office, and even though it is the broom closet ending, it doesn't end the game. So that's kind of a false statement right there. But it's very paradoxical because the narrator in the original Stanley Parable wouldn't remember your choices from a previous playthrough unless it was the confusion ending. And I mean, that specific instance, and I could be wrong, and I'm thinking I am wrong because I was playing through Ultra Deluxe, which has more endings and actually has a save data. So anything that changes in that playthrough, so let's say the broom closet ending. Let's say you get the broom closet thing and it gets boarded up. Next time you boot up the game, it will remain, the boards will remain on the door and you can't open it. Unless, of course, you go into, Stanley Parable 2, which is just extra content. The confusion ending is the only one that I noticed that he remembered your decisions. Because he remembers, he's like, oh, no, this isn't right. The game's broken. The game was spoiled. But, when I think of narrative-driven games, I immediately jump to, a YouTube or a series of YouTube series. It's confusing, but, a bunch of YouTube series from Markiplier. I believe, in my opinion, there is In Space, A Heist With, Who Killed, A Date With, and I feel like there's one more, but I'm probably wrong. But those are the 4 that I could think of that had choices that affected, they had different endings. And they're all very well put together. Very well. I highly suggest you go watch In Space with Markiplier. Very well put together. Very well written. And it's so confusing because sometimes people are like, did he tease this beforehand? And it's always so strange to look back at some of those things and notice some of the endings in the series, and I'm just like, oh, people have put together videos being like, did he try to tease In Space with, a year ago or however long ago? But those are fun little YouTube games to play in a way. Another one with Butterfly Effect would be, as much as I haven't played it, Minecraft Story Mode, or the Telltale games. Any Telltale games, The Walking Dead. I don't know much else of what they did, but those are the games you think of when you think of Butterfly and narrative. To me. That's my opinion, but honestly, again, I may not know what I'm talking about, and I couldn't do a narrative-based game if I tried, unless you count text-based adventures. But I don't know if people would classify those as narrative-driven games. But I'll go back to the Stanley Parable. With Ultra Deluxe, they added in new content. At first, I thought it was just a new game announcement. In general. Because I was like, oh, Stanley Parable 2? I'm confused here. Is it a new game, or is it just a remake? But it turns out it was basically just the Stanley Parable expanded upon. Which is fine. It's a decent game. I'm actually gonna look it up. I'm gonna see here. Yeah, when you look up Stanley Parable 2, It is Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, and it's so weird to like think about it because I'm like, I don't know why they called it Ultra Deluxe and they didn't just call it like Stanley Parable 2. I'm actually going to go to the Stanley Parable website, and for people that are curious, what platforms is the Ultra Deluxe version available on? You've got PC, PlayStation 5, like the PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and Nintendo Switch. I will not name the series of console like PS5, PS4 individually because I will say it's PlayStation consoles because all they are is like an upgraded PS4 to handle, you know, this generation of graphics. And it's always fun to like play through stuff, and you could see like they were, you know, teasing potential ideas, and they were saying like, let's, you know, quickly make like mash these mechanics together and try and make a game. And my brain went, don't rush it. You know, if it is a game that's actually in development, don't rush it. But like as I was seeing things taking shape, I'm like, oh, okay, they are kind of showing a mock process of game development. I know I went from talking about narrative-driven games to a specific game, because they were going like your initial version was something, and the version 2 was a different version, and it got me thinking. I'm like, what games have I done that to? And I've talked about the original incarnation of DH2, which had a demo released, I think, in 2019. I can look really quick, and I will look here. Game Jolts, because I want to see when it was released. Oh, that's new. I think I saw this earlier, but I never looked at it. Place a sticker. Sorry, I got looking at their quest log. So, DH2 Reawakening had a demo that was released. Version 1.1 was released on Christmas Day 2019. And I'm going to look at the devlog here really quick. On July 4th, 2020, at 9:31 p.m., I initially made the announcement that it was moving to Unreal Engine, and then it moved back to RPG Maker MV, got canceled, and then brought back as a completely different concept. And part of the reason it switched from I'll talk about that another time, but let's talk about like why things change in development. I was actually kind of starting to plan my next project after Ruins 3, and I started creating mock characters, like different characters. Like I only have one setting for a character saved, but I started kind of designing and figuring out how do I want the characters to look. How should the characters look? And I was talking to someone about it. Like I made mention I was working on it yesterday in Merc's server. Only I think one person has seen the design, and I've explained very briefly that it is a concept. It will probably change. What do you think? Like I want feedback. Like how does this character look? Cause I was gonna make like a pirate, cause I swear, like for the longest time I knew what I wanted the project to be, and I could have sworn at some point I had a conversation about pirates and a pirate being a potential character. But that's how that initial concept for the character was going to be. And I even started writing the script as if it were like a pirate or a sailor, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. That seems, like something that I would do, or that seems like something that could work. Again, initial concepts and prototypes and demos will change over time. Again, I say look at the character designs for Jordan. I talked about this yesterday in DH2, or no, this next project that I'm working on, or this project I'm working on now, I should say. There's, I think, 6 designs for Jordan alone. And each is a different, not like style, but for a different time period. Or a different form. And I've mentioned it too, like, it's a character, Jordan's a character along with many of the main cast of the particular series, Demon Hunters and Ruins particularly, that have had several character design changes due to a change in engine or a change in concept. I've mentioned that the original Jordan had glasses in the original, in the first 2 games I've made. The designs were completely different, but I don't have those designs to reference, and I didn't at the time. So the Jordan I ended up creating for the original Demon Hunters, well, yes, it had the same name. It was a completely different concept and evolved over time to a completely different person. Now, it's not a change in like a game's design, but it's a change in a character, which is a very small part in a game to me. Characters are very small parts early on in a game's development, in my opinion, but I'm more than likely wrong. And that was something that I learned very on, was how to try and evolve the character. I think I've kind of written Jordan to be more of a negotiator, especially in this next game, like, because he is in the game in some form, and even in DH the early days, he would be seen trying to negotiate with people instead of immediately fighting them. He's not the same in every scenario. He's human. He has emotions such as anger, regret, sadness, happiness. And it's seen in like Ultimate Showdown where I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna stop this guy. But he also goes in detail, like, I have been injured, I've been injured by this guy, I've been, imprisoned, let's go into that. There's a game that didn't even come out that I still have the original script for, which I have made reference to events in that game that I knew I wanted to happen. People will be like, well, what do you mean? I'm going to just say, for example, in DH, in this project, Ruins 3, I knew how I wanted the game to end. The game will end like, I started, well, I shouldn't even say the game will end, but the game, I have it planned to take place in, like, an underworld setting. And that's how I started the game's development. I worked with the ending, and I started working backwards. You know, and that's a very different approach that I really don't think I've taken before. And that's because this is the first game in a while I hadn't written anything down for a script. DH2, or DH1 Part 2 had a script. Ruins the Lost Chapter has a script. I believe Ruins 2 The Lost Chapter has a draft of a script somewhere. DH Great War had a script. That's how, like, it's a very, very early script, you know, because I canned the development of it, but I know the events that I wanted to happen. This next game will have a script, because I'm writing that script. Whenever I have time or when an idea pops in my head, I write something down, even if it's in a comment in the Google Doc. Everything that I've written up until Ultimate Showdown and the early days had a script. Minus the first Demon Hunters game, or the first part of the first game. That did not have a script, and I felt awful for it. So I've been trying to write more scripts for the game to keep a coherent story. And if you guys can't tell, that didn't go so well. Let me just... I didn't update the stream info to talk about podcasts. Talk shows and podcasts. Okay. Boom. There we go. Apparently it has updated. I don't think anybody's in here. Like I said, it's just going to be me today. But no. Narratives are a key part in a lot of, like I would say, probably RPGs and adventure games. Narratives are important. But in something like an action game, I don't think a narrative will take the front seat. You know, and people say, you know, there might be people that disagree and say, why? In an action game, something akin to a Mortal Kombat, it's not the most important aspect of those types of games. There is a story, like if there's a story mode, it's going to be specifically important to that mode. But in early Mortal Kombat games, it was literally a multiplayer arcade beat-em-up style of game, or like a arcade fighter game, or whatever. There wasn't much of a story in those types of games. But as time went on and they actually included a story mode in a, in the games, that mode is separate. I think it's separate from the game itself. Something like a Five Nights at Freddy's. I will say the narrative was almost non-existent for the first few games. Most of the backstory you got from the phone calls or newspaper clippings. You know, you didn't have like a bunch of stuff until I think it was Five Nights 4 where you had, Five Nights 3 with the cutscenes, like the mini games after the cutscenes. That was kind of storytelling to kind of go into why the animatronics are doing what they're doing. Five Nights 4, you had everything leading up to the events from the way it sounds. There's like visual nods and hints to a story, but I've said it's not always important depending on what type of game it is, it may not be important. You know, Mario games for the longest time had the most simplistic story. Go save the princess. Until I think it was Mario Odyssey, which I still haven't played all the way through, and I want to, because it's such a good game. Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna say this: like Legend of Zelda, it's got a story, and that's what I mean. Adventure games will have a story to it, and this story is probably going to be the forefront, along with exploration. Exploration and storytelling will go hand in hand at some point, especially in Breath of the Wild. I found myself when I first got Breath of the Wild in 2019. I quite enjoyed it. Like, I remember playing the game. I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks nice, plays good. Didn't know much about what had happened because I don't remember the timeline, and we've talked about the timeline before. If you guys want to go check that out, go check out the Legend of Zelda bonus episode we did with Song of Storms. It was actually probably one of my favorite episodes of the podcast, for sure. But that's the thing too, like Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear series has a story, and again, while it's not important, the story is there, and it's not conveyed in such a simplistic way as like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's almost like a movie in like Metal Gear Solid 4. It seems like it went from video game to movie with video game elements. So, that was definitely something that, you know, I found to be unique with Metal Gear. It was a very weird series, and I do want to talk about it, like, with the story, because it gets to be complex. But, like, there are games that don't have a story. The Dark Room is literally, you wake up in a dark room, find your way out. Find a light switch so you can find a way out. I will say this, a game that I'm working on is literally you wake up in a maze. Choose your own adventure. Go, you know, north, south, east, or west, and then from there, that's your adventure. Have fun. And I want to say, like, each direction will have its own unique story, in a way. I still want to do that. It's going to be very interesting to see how I can implement the four cardinal directions being four different stories. I will say, like, the reason I wanted to talk about something like the Stanley Parable is because I'm going to go back to that, and I know I'm bad at, like, staying on topic, but I've been streaming at this point for 2 hours. For those that are listening to the podcast on Anchor and not watching the archive, I've been streaming, according to Twitch, for 2 hours and 41 minutes. And I am exhausted, and I've been playing the Stanley Parable live for, I think, an hour and a half leading up to this, and it's just been a mess, because the Stanley Parable is meta. Oh, I think it's gonna rain soon. I heard something outside my window. I'm like, uh-oh. So yeah, if the stream does go down, I do apologize. That's actually why I'm also recording, is just in case. And, you know, but yeah, like, again, going back to the original topic of, like, narrative driven games, the Stanley Parable, I will say, is a narrative driven game, because the narrator basically tells you what you should be doing. It's whether or not you want to obey his basic commands, like take the door on the right, or was it take the door on the left is the first major choice. And then from that choice, you have different options. It gets complex, but it's really meta when you get the phone ending. Spoilers. And you unplug the phone, he's like, oh, you're not Stanley, you're a person. That's how you can choose. Like, you have basically your own free will. And I can't tell you what to do, is because you're not Stanley, you're another person. And that's like super meta. One of the endings literally takes you behind the scenes of Stanley Parable's development, which made me nerd out because I've made games before, and it's always interested me to see how much something changes, even if it's something minute as a character design or the entire game's concept as a whole. Like I said, DH Great War, I do intend on using that script. It's just, how am I going to use it? Especially if I'm going to create something like an RPG. And for people that are going to be smart about it, I've made role-playing games. And, to be honest with you, I think that would be an interesting challenge, but then again, I do want to have like several missions, so I may have to figure out how to do a first-person type of format. But that would be weird because the timeline doesn't make sense then. Since it's a prequel game, and in the other, it's technically a prequel game to, I would say, it's a sequel to Ruins 2, so it would be a prequel to Ultimate Showdown. I had to think for a minute, because I've made a lot of those types of games. Like, I've made a lot of games in those two series combined. I think of Ruins as more of like a side story. Well, granted, why does this project have Ruins 3 since it was DH2 Ultimate Showdown? Actually, I might change that in the final release. Just because it would make sense for it to be in the same series. But I've made a lot of Demon Hunters games where there's no guns, nothing. It's all like, I would say kind of medieval style, swords and swords and close quarters combat, not so much guns. And I know guns have been around for ages, like hundreds, if not maybe, I think hundreds of years, if not maybe even, I would say thousands of years, but not so much thousands. I would say within the last 1,000 years. I don't remember when the first that was invented, but yeah, I'm getting tired, but I'm still gonna have to push through for at least an hour episode today. But yeah, like, that was an interesting choice that I had to think about. I wonder who's all online right now. I know good old Murglack was playing through the Stanley Parable, and I remember just watching it, and I'm like, this is like an incredibly meta game, and it's insane. Like, looks like he might be getting ready to stream though, because I don't think he's ever on this late. He usually streamed in the morning, which I thought was odd that this morning he didn't have a stream. Let me just make sure. One way I checked him to see if he's streaming is I go to my email because I get push notifications, and like that's one of the first things I will see is like, hey, so and so went live, go check them out. And like I said, Merg's been playing a lot of Castlevania and Stanley Parable. He's been playing through Symphony of the Night, which I'm glad he's enjoying it. I've been playing a lot of oh crap, which one is it? Of all of them, I don't know which one it is. I think it's Harmony of Dissonance. And I'm liking the game. I'm voice cracked, but I'm stuck. I've gotten to a point I might actually just show it here. In the podcast, we're gonna do a game section. I mean, might as well. Castlevania Advanced Collection. Alright, hold on a second. Let me grab my controller. Alright, you guys can see. Oh god, let me turn down my volume. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, it's broken. So yeah, if you guys want to see where I'm at. Oh, now it's recognizing the controller. It's recognizing a wire. Yeah, we're at the Shrine of the Apostle. And I'm stuck. Because if I go up here... Oh dear. Okay, so on a controller it's B. See, I've been this way though. Like, that's how I got here. Okay, that's that. That's that. That's jump. Sorry about that, guys. I'm terrible, but no. These are more, like, simple plot games, though. For people that are curious, you basically go, fight Dracula, and the game's over. Okay, let me look at my map here really quick. So, have I been to every area? I don't know. Yeah, no. I don't think that works. I've been that way before. So if I'm staying down here... Yeah, I don't know. I got stuck. Like I said, that's where I am. Like, I'm basically in the Shrine of the Apostles. And I'm stuck. I don't know how much I can show for Spotify and their rules, but... yeah, like, that's about it. Like, I'm stuck at that point, and I don't know. Like, I really wish I knew. And right now, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on Discord as well, just in case somebody decides, oh, I'm gonna pop in and say hi. And they, you know, you never know. Somebody could, like, pop in mid podcast recording here and be like, hey, so I'm gonna actually say hi to Merg real quick. And because, well, you know, I've been playing some Castlevania. I've been playing some Nautica too. I might actually play that for the podcast and just talk about, like, adventure. Because, my god, Subnautica is, like, super awesome. And I might actually just do that. Subnautica. And people are like, well, it's not much of a podcast if you're playing games. It's like, yeah, you know, but I'd also like to. So just so, like, people don't get angry, we'll edit the stream info and go Subnautica. Because again, I'm literally talking to myself, and I mean, I I'd rather have something going on for the viewers in the background. Let me see if is it gonna take my controller input? Nope, I don't think so. An hour and 55 minutes. Is it? Did I pull it up on XSplit? Hold on. Oh my god, I can hear the fans on my... Oh boy. Yeah, no, it's not gonna recognize the controller, but... Let's climb the ladder then. I need to try and find, I think it was silver or copper. I think it was silver. Silver or gold is what I was looking for. And I don't really know necessarily where to... Oh god. Oh dear, where was that? Oh boy. I felt that, and we got a new radio communication, so... I mean, let's go see what that new radio communication is, and we can find it. But no, like, this game is not a narrative.
This is Sunbeam. You know Aurora. We're from a little transgov on the far side of Andromeda, and we have a saying there. There's no bad without the good, no good without the bad. Sounds like you tasted a bunch of the former, but that only means you're overdue a whole lot of the latter. Might just be we're in. We're scanning for somewhere to park. We'll be in touch when we find it. Sunbeam out.
So, basically, this game, I would think the only story is the opening cutscene and whatever radio communication you get. I'm not 100% sure on that. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, copper. No, silver or gold. So, use my hotkeys, right? No, like this game is not your normal, but it's something for me to do while somebody else, like, while I see if other people are gonna join in, or if it's just gonna be me. Okay, we got ourselves Bladderfish. That's something too with this game. It's like a survival adventure game, so it's like really cool for me to. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me go up and refill my oxygen. Okay, now we can go down. Alright, we picked up another grav trap fragment. We got the blueprint. Now, because I'm like, I don't know when I'll resurface. There might be some cool stuff down here. But no, like, the fun part about games, and like, I actually kind of enjoy these games more than narrative-driven games because you have the freedom to explore. What? Oh, brain core. That's what that is. I was gonna say, are these the ones you might as well pick up?
30 seconds.
There it is. Keep going. Alright. I don't know where to find gold, but we're exploring here. But no, like this game, in comparison to a narrative-driven game, it's very open. It's an open world, so you can go and explore most anything in the sea. quartz. I don't know if I need how much. I think it's 2 for glass. So, I picked up some quartz. Not what I'm looking for, but... Okay.
30 seconds.
Well, that's what I wanted. I see some quartz down there, so... Oh, it noticed me. I don't care if it bit me, but... Okay, we're gonna keep moving. Get up there. Holy cow. And yeah, like, the thing is, you have a lot of
30
objectives.
seconds.
Hold on. Did it save that I switched it to Subnautica instead of, like, talk shows and podcasts? Because, again, I was originally going to do this as live, but I'm also like, Tipka. There it is. Subnautica Adventures. I'm curious, is that like DLC? No, I love playing this game as compared to like a narrative-driven adventure. Ooh. Here we go. It boom. It went boom. Okay. I've got copper. Perhaps a little more will hurt. Something I don't like about this game compared to like something like Minecraft is that you can't stack it. Oh shit, I gotta go. Oh shit.
Oxygen.
Oh no. This is bad. This is super bad. I'm gonna die. Go, 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 go. Don't black out. Oh, thank God. Oh, that's something too. Like, in this game, you have to, like, monitor your oxygen levels. I don't think I need to take sulfur yet. I don't know how far I should go with these. Let's go back. Let's go find our home. We haven't found anything that I'm looking for. What is this? Oh, more creature eggs.
30 seconds.
At least they're like, oh, hey, you have 30 seconds of oxygen. So can I not make food of the creature eggs? I don't actually know. I wish Berg was here to help me through this. Because that's the thing, like, these games are, like, so awesome for me to play. Because I'm like, I'm actually taking time to explore the world. And, like, learn. I know I said I was going to go back, but I want to see what else I can find. Another freaking creature. I've got quartz. No, I was scanning you. Fish. So, now let's head back and get our water made. See, games like this are always fun. And I know I've said that a lot in like 5 minutes, but the one problem I have is you can't stack it compared to like I want to say Minecraft, but Minecraft I feel is different. No, I want the bladderfish for filtered water because you actually have to worry about dehydration. So, now, because water, oh no, boom. Let's see, we got creature eggs. Okay, that's not new. Advanced theories. Evidence suggests that a substantial number, if not all, of the local species reproduce through egg-laying. Eggs can be found resting on the seafloor. Oh god. Oh! Whoa, what did I hit? I hit something. Because it got me. That hurt. That actually did kind of hurt. Oh, good. Oh, no. Get out of here. Thank you. I made it out in one piece. Whoa. What is this? Okay, we got lead. I don't remember what we need that for. Alright. No, like this has a bunch of crafting recipes and all that fun stuff. Copper wire. What did we need lead for? I feel like we needed lead for something. Bleach, salt deposit, coral sample, glass, deployable, grav trap. What did we need for a battery again? Hold on, let me get some cooked food. Cooked food fish. Cooked food. Cooked this thing. Because, wait, cured fish. There's a tab, and then we go to inventory, and then we go. We basically fill up our stuff, and then we have the medkit fabricator. What is this? So let me go look at the different crafting blueprints. Fiber mesh, electronics. What did we need for a wiring kit again? Silver ore, radiation, high capacity. We need 2 glass, 4 titanium, 1 silver with a standard O2 tank, copper wire and wiring kit, floating air pump. I don't have any pipes made, so I mean, repair tool, habitat builder, grav trap, foundation, 2 titanium, 2 lead, 2 titanium. I'm not sure I would know how to do any of this. Trash can and vending machine. So we're getting close to an hour, but I think we're gonna go until like 8:30 and see if anybody else shows up, or like 8:25 or something like that. Because I'm incredibly boring. But like this is what I mean. I prefer kind of the adventure style of game compared to a narrative-driven game because, well, let's face it. narrative, you have so many endings you can do. Adventure, I just take my time. I'm just gonna go down here because I feel like I missed something. Did I? Looks like I gathered all the sulfur deposits and then giant coral tube. We picked up more lead. Picked up cave sulfur. Again, what was it for a battery? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Fabricator. Batteries. Power, battery, acid, mushroom, and copper. Okay. I think I have plenty of acid mushrooms. I mean, along with, like, titanium, I'm going to take you, fabricator, for, what was a battery? Oh, I need 2. Never mind then, we're not ready. We need 1 more. The thing is, for me, I have issues, like, remember, oh god, now what? I figured. Murglak is now live. What's he playing? Dark Souls? Oh no! He's playing Dark Souls! Alright, do I have a battery? I have a battery made. I could do 2 pieces of glass. Again, considering that you can't stack nothing. Oh, I can do flares. Okay. That might be useful. We'll get rid of our glass as well. And escape. And people are like, well, you're doing a hell of a lot of planning. Like, because, you know, sometimes you have to. Especially in a game like this. No. Yes, thank you. And then we do that. Escape. Now, let's go this direction. So, here's what I'm going to plan to do. Here's the thing. You know, as much as I wanted to talk about narrative games, I didn't have much to say. I mean, I didn't think there were a lot out there. Like, that probably is just me not paying attention. God dang, more titanium. I literally... Oh, salt deposit, okay. Whoa! I heard something. And I didn't like it. It didn't like me.
30 seconds.
Oh god. You. I'm going. Okay. I wish I had a flashlight. I'm actually curious. Okay, that does nothing for me. Oh My Lanta. Sun scanner. There. My scanner. If you want to what that is. Again, I've never been out.
30 seconds.
I know. 30 seconds of oxygen remaining. What is that? I think I know what that is, but I want to be sure. I've never scanned it before. Oh my lord. Rain coral. Oh, I think I've been here. I thought it was a monster. What? Alright, we got off. It's nighttime. It's the worst time. Oh. Well, that's not a barnacle. Hey, we got silver. I don't know why I picked up the acid stuff, but... Oh, is this the same type of thing? I'm not sure. But I'm, you know, really am. It's moving, but I'm not sure if it's... What the heck is this, dude? No, I have no idea what it is. Like, it doesn't even show up on my scanner as anything, so... Oh, dude. I wish I could, like, do a quick descent. But, you know. I found some gold and stuff. So much copper.
Seconds.
Again, it's like, yeah, 30 seconds and 21 oxygen, 21O2 remaining. So, 18, 15, I might barely make it. No, I made it with 12 to go. I really wish I understood how the oxygen is actually measured. People wonder, like, if people are curious about me getting lost, I don't think that happens because your home vessel is outlined for you, so losing it's not really an issue. It's managing the oxygen for me. That's my biggest issue.
30 seconds.
Wait, so what's down here then? Is that just acid mushroom? Sorry. I'm just like I'm playing the game on my own and oh yeah, this is just
Pass Passing 100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Oh, I need a suit, I think. I need like a special suit. Like a mechanical suit, I think.
30 seconds.
Like people will say, well, that wasn't much of a podcast. Like, I mean, I'm talking about what I'm enjoying with the game, and like, I'm giving commentary on it, but it's not like anything superb. Let's go back. Yeah, as you can see, we're 200 meters from our home base. See, I'm sitting here like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna enjoy the game. I found some silver, so I wonder if I have any in the base. It's probably in one of those extra storage areas. I just don't know which one. There it is. Perfect. Now I've got 2 silver and a bunch of copper. Aha, now we can make a wiring kit. Yeah, we'll make more copper. Copper wire. Equipment. Compass! Ha, now we have a compass. Displays compass heading on the HUD. So let's try it out. Oh, I see now. Four. Oh no. Oh no, I just want to scan you. There we go. I forget where I'm going. So yeah, now we have a compass, so now we know what direction we're heading. These are always useful. Where did you go? Where? I'm, again, just like...
Oxygen.
What is this? Oh, that's a creature ring. I don't have any more room for those, though. Oh, I picked up more titanium. Salvage. And that can be turned into titanium. That's the thing too. People are like, you don't have a lot of titanium, but you say it's in there. It is. I can literally go and find titanium
30 seconds.
out in the open like this. screwed around. We got another radio. Shit. Oh, we got gold. Okay. I know we needed gold for something. Copper for wiring. I know we needed gold for something, so... I think maybe a power cell? I'm not sure. Oh, let's head back and see what our radio communication is all about. That's something that I like about the game. Like, any objectives besides, like, building a base of operation is delivered through your radio. The problem is you can't communicate with anyone. Hey, I'm at this location. Another distress call?
This is Ozzy from the cafeteria. What the hell, guys? They didn't warn us this might happen. Our pod was almost crushed by this Seamoth Bay on the way down. Now we're hanging on the edge of a cave system, and this grim-looking snake thing's trying to eat through the hull. Come get us already.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
Alright, then. I know we needed gold for something, so we're gonna do a few things. We're gonna use our fabricator. We're going to click our resources here. Power cell 2 battery. We need a computer chip. Okay, well, we need how much table? Like how many table core samples? Or table coral samples do we have? I don't think we have that many. Coral tube. Who can you get another one? You, I need water. Alright, let's save. Quick. Since I got the compass. Life pod 17, 100 meters. Stranded near a cave system. So anyway. Because here you can usually find some stuff. That snake-like thing, I wonder if that's not the thing swimming beneath us. Thank God I have flares. Don't know how many I've used accidentally though. Okay, so we weren't far from it. I think we've traveled in the neighborhood. Snake-like feature. What the hell is it talking about? See, So what I'm gonna
30
do,
seconds.
I'm going to swim up to the top, refill my oxygen. And go down to the bottom again. I see something. Picked up the salt. Oh, where's the entrance to it? Anything? Abandoned.
Integrating new PDA data.
I think that was it.
30 seconds.
I'm going, man. It's like almost 9 o'clock, so I can get going. An hour and a half, I think. So,
Oxygen.
I suppose I could actually like, take a look, see what's around it. Oh,
Passing 100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased. 30 seconds.
again, I can find titanium anywhere. I need to hurry.
Oxygen.
I'm aware. I'm going. Alright. Now let me get home. I mean, I've been live for what, according to Twitch, it's been posted 3 or 4 hours now. At 9:10 it will be 4 hours. Or no, at 9:10 I think it'll be 5 hours. Because I've been, no, 4 hours. Because I started streaming at 5:10. I don't know where my math went at. But, I mean, that means a 2-hour podcast segment. And then a 2-hour Stanley Parable segment, which, that may be a bonus episode all on its own. But, who knows? I should check the chat really quick. I can hear my... According to Twitch, it's been 3.5 hours, so yeah, the full episode won't go on Anchor. I think I'm recording it, so like I said, just in case the weather goes bad, we got it. Okay, table. Here we go. We got more than enough. Table 4, I think. And we're right above our home. Alright, resources. Electronics. Copper. You know, I've got some more. Computer chip. And advanced wiring kit. Wouldn't that be first floating air pump, pipe, fire extinguisher, first aid kit, standard, titanium, silver. I think we've got most of those. So just a sec. Actually, I think with it being about 8:45, I'm going to end the stream and the podcast episode. I know it wasn't like productive. Actually, I'll just end the Subnautica stream portion where we say, like, we've learned that I prefer like adventure games compared to something that's more narrative, because a narrative is kind of linear in where you end up. I was gonna say something along the lines of, like, the in-space with Markiplier gives you the freedom of choice, but it's fairly linear, because all the paths end at one point in part 1. And I think even in part 2 there's different paths, but the ending is, they're like, I feel like there's multiple endings, but I've only gotten the one so far, so with that being said, I'm probably gonna end the episode. So we'll see you guys later. Bye!